Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Public Forum. I'll remind all present that mobile phones must be switched off before the meeting and that the meeting is being recorded and live streamed. Please be aware we have a 5-minute time limit for speeches in the chamber. You will hear a bell ring at 4 minutes and then another at 5 minutes. If you could please wrap up your speech in that last minute, that would be great. I'll also remind speakers that a councillor may ask you a question, however you are under no obligation to answer, and speakers are not to ask any questions of councillors. I will also remind speakers they have a 1-minute time limit in reply to questions from councillors if any are asked. And lastly, please stick to the topic of your item in the agenda so I don't have to bump you back on course. With that, we have Charlie Fannin of Chevalier College is speaking for the recommendation in item 8.2 Youth Council. Oh, they are speaking in tandem with Ayla Cowie.
Good afternoon, Mayor, councillors, staff and general public. My name is Charlie and this is Ayla. We're the Chev representatives for the 2025 Windjie-Carriby Youth Council. We really appreciate the opportunity to share some insights from our first meeting and talk about what we're hoping to achieve this year.
It's been a real privilege to be selected as this part of the year's Youth Council. At the first meeting held on the 10th of April, Charlie and I hosted it at Chevalier College. We feel that the meeting had an amazing turnout and that we were really proud of everyone involved. The Youth Council is a diverse group of young people from different schools and backgrounds across the Shire, and it gave us a great chance to meet each other, learn more about the role and begin setting our shared goals.
The meeting started off with an introduction activity, allowing us to get to know others in the Youth Council, which built a strong foundation as a team. One of the key ideas of the first session was the communication and engagement plan. We spent time discussing what it means to represent young people in our communities and how we can listen to and reflect the views of our peers. We also looked at the structure of local government and how we, as a youth council, can contribute meaningfully to council conversations and decisions.
During our group discussions, another big idea emerged on our plan for the Youth Council. We talked about the youth plan themes and provided suggestions as well as additional actions that could be added to the youth plan. Some themes that we talked about included concerns around mental health support for young people, the need for safer and more accessible public transport, particularly in rural areas, as well as creating more inclusive spaces that reflect the diversity of our community.
We also spent some time sharing ideas about how we can better connect with other young people in the Shire. One of our goals is to make sure the Youth Council is truly representative, so we're looking at ways to gather feedback from a wide range of voices, including through schools, local events and social media. It's important to us that the work we do reflects the real interests and concerns of our peers.
We are all really excited about lies ahead and are keen to make a meaningful contribution throughout the year. On behalf of the whole Youth Council, we want to thank you for this support for this initiative and for giving us the opportunity to have a voice in local matters that affect young people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Miles Lockhead of Southern Highlands Water Polo is speaking against the recommendation in 8.3 Draft Aquatic Plan and Business Case for Regional Aquatic Centre.
Thank you, Mayor Fitzpatrick, councillors, GM Lisa, Ms Campbell and council staff for the opportunity to speak today. I'm joined by our head coach of Mittagong Swimming Club and also life member of Southern Highlands Water Polo, Jenny Balla, and she'll share some of the topics today. Mittagong Swimming Club is an institution with a proud 94-year history, predating water polo by nearly 5 decades. The presentation and our submissions are supported by both clubs and informed by extensive consultation, including with members of the newly formed Mittagong Sporting Hub. Today we'll highlight key concerns relating to the Aquatics Plan Post-Exhibition Report, a core recommendation from the Community Recreation Facilities Strategy 2024. Our full submissions, which are available on our website with a lot more information about this whole process, span more than 55 pages and include a detailed chronology of the process. Our submissions and the following remarks focus specifically on aquatics, whilst acknowledging the broader sporting and recreational needs of the Shire. Now, Jenny will cover the first 4 points.
Key points are Southern Highlands Water Polo, Mittagong Swim Club share a long-term vision for aquatics in the Highlands. This document will be made public dependent on the outcome of today's report. The north of the Shire is critically underserved. As Council's report notes, Mittagong Pool has been operational for 32 of the past 168 available weeks. That is less than 20% since 2014. We live and operate with this reality, season in and out, now. In summer, Barrel Pool is under strain, serving school carnivals, lap swimmers and general public demand its longevity unknown. Frensham Centenary Pool, managed by Aquabliss, has been home to both clubs since 2015 and is nearing capacity. We appreciate Council's acknowledgement of its role and Frensham efforts to meet voluntary planning agreement obligations.
Thanks, Jenny. And on to some of the other areas that we've tabled today. And thank you for the councillors and the Mayor for listening to us over a substantial period and for enabling us to present these issues today. The community survey that conducted alongside the aquatics plan produced skewed results in our view. Due to the framing of its questions, Bundanoon Pool received 423 responses alone, and that's only the formal ones, so there's a lot more. So well done, Bundanoon. And that was driven by the potential of the Bundanoon Pool to close. We support Bundanoon community's call to retain their pool in perpetuity, not merely for 10 years, as the report implies. We strongly support the proposal to transform Boswell Park, that's the former Mittagong Pool, into a rewilded community recreation space consistent with Strategic Direction 3 of the CRFS, that's Destination Play Spaces. Our submission actually proposed that on page 40. We called it a destination playground with water play. However, a component of this proposal providing a natural untreated swimming area at Boswell Park is problematic. Poor upstream water quality and high flood risks will require this option to be fully considered in terms of public health and safety. We understand Council's reluctance to lead a regional aquatic centre development, given its scale and cost. We agree it should be planned and undertaken in partnership with state and federal governments, and we've already initiated these conversations, including with potential philanthropic supporters. A meeting is actually scheduled tomorrow with our local member, Judy Hannon, to discuss the outcome of today. And in that regard, Nicole McCarthy, our club president, is an apology because she's a working mum and she can't afford 2 days off, so she's coming tomorrow to Wallandilly. Swimming and water polo strongly advocate for a regional aquatic centre at the preferred Mittagong Hub site to address the critical shortfall in aquatics in the Shire. We would support an alternate site should research and open consultation determine this preference. A regional facility would serve recreation, community health, learn to swim, various competitions and elite sport as outlined in our submissions. We're concerned that today's report appears to rule out the aquatic centre, the regional aquatic centre, despite its inclusion in previous planning stages. And we respectfully request that Council consider an additional recommendation along these lines. I'll read out the one I provided for the benefit of the people watching and in the audience. That Council note references to a regional aquatic centre in the updated aquatic strategy and business case and explore the opportunities for provision and funding of such facility in partnership with local community stakeholders and with the state and federal governments. Should planning and development for a regional centre proceed, we believe a complementary review of both Mittagong Hub and the precinct at Barrel is warranted to ensure community is best served in the long term. And Jenny will just finish off with the last 2 points.
The saying, build it and they will come, holds true here. A modern, inclusive regional facility located midway between Sydney and Canberra, just 45 minutes from the new Western Sydney Airport, would have national and international reach. We look forward to working with Council and the community to realise our vision, which has the opportunity to provide high standard facilities to benefit the whole Shire in the short and the long term.
Thank you.
In concluding, we've covered a lot in 5 minutes.
Yep.
We would be available to answer any questions if there are. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions? No? Oh, Councillor Russell.
What would you like to see us, what next steps would you like to see us take as a council?
Thank you. in our submissions and regularly through our approaches to council and staff, we've indicated that there's been a lack of community consultation, proper community consultation. So in that proposed alternate recommendation, we're suggesting a consultation session with the key stakeholders. When we started this process, the council was under administration and we didn't deal with the council. This is the first time we've really had an opportunity to deal directly with council, and that's a lovely change. So we'd like the opportunity, not only us, that's the Water Polo Club and the Swimming Club, but the stakeholders at Mittagong, who would be disadvantaged if there's no swimming area available in Mittagong and the north of the Shire, to sit around the table with council staff and the stakeholders to go through a lot of the realities that are in our submission and some of the things that haven't been discussed, just to ensure that the opportunity for a regional aquatic centre is on the table. It seems to, from the reports and what we're reading today, that it's off the table now.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Moylan.
Thank you very much for coming today, and thank you for contributing to this discussion. You mentioned that you felt the survey was skewed. I didn't quite catch that point. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Well, yes, and in a minute, I better be quick. The survey was a valid survey, asking lots of questions. We responded to the questions, but leading up to the strategy going on the exhibition, it was apparent that there was scope for a regional aquatic centre. So the Mittagong community, the swimmers, the water polo players were comfortable with that proposal, and our submission included some parts of that and acknowledged that that was going to happen. Bundanoon, in the way that the report was written, it said Bundanoon was going to close, and it also said that Bowral could close too. And it's amazing how nobody turned up at the Bowral consultation meeting when the plans were put on exhibition. Nobody. I was the only one there. So there was obviously a complacency in the community. Apathy rules in these situations. If there's no threat, people don't respond. Bundanoon did because they thought their pool was going to close. And the answers and the percentages that came out of the survey reflect that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Next up, we have Jeff Pollard of Bundanoon Community Association is speaking against the recommendation in item 8.3, draft plan and business case for Regional Aquatic Centre.
Thank you. Mayor and councillors, thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Bundanoon Community Association and the more than 80 community members who gathered for a public consultation last Thursday evening to respond to the aquatic strategy and its implications for Bundanoon's swimming pool. This follows 420 form submissions and 118 detailed submissions that were received over the consultation period, of which 90% opposed the closure of Bundanoon Pool. So first of all, we acknowledge the council's shift from the earlier draft recommendation to close Bundanoon Pool upon opening of a regional aquatic centre. That change is significant, and we thank those councillors who've advocated for it. However, the revised offer recommendation under 8.35, which states that Bundanoon Pool will remain open until it reaches the end of its useful life, unless external funding is secured, still presumes failure. It is based on the assumption of inevitable concrete cancer, despite no testing results yet confirming this. It implies that Bundanoon Pool is in terminal decline, rather than viewing it as a valuable community asset worthy of long-term planning and investment. We respectfully request a revision of the resolution of 8.35 to bring Bundanoon into alignment with the approach proposed for Bowral Pool. The recommendation for Bowral includes both a commitment to proactive maintenance and the preparation of a master plan and funding strategy for future renewal. Bundanoon deserves the same. We propose the following amended wording. that Council continues to implement proactive maintenance works to extend the life of the Bundanoon Pool, and that Council commit to preparing a master plan and funding strategy for the future renewal and upgrade of the facility, including the investigation of stage work such as solar heating and a retractable cover. This wording reflects what our community overwhelmingly endorsed last week. It also better reflects the reality that Bundanoon Pool serves not just Bundanoon, but a large proportion of the southern villages. Despite limited operating hours and frequent closures, it remains well loved and heavily used. We understand Council is operating under financial constraints, but this community has a long track record of stepping up, fundraising, advocating and building its own infrastructure. With Council support, we can pursue external grants and contribute to long-term solutions. What we need from Council is a commitment to plan with us, not to wind down while we wait for an untested prediction to be fulfilled. Mayor and councillors, Bundanoon Pool is more than a service. It's part of our heritage, our identity and our health. We ask you to support the amended resolution and stand with us in securing its future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Councillor Russell.
My apologies if I've missed it. Have you emailed that amendment to us as councillors?
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Next, we have Ben Shepherd of Business Southern Highlands is speaking for the recommendation in item 8.8, Sustainable Procurement and Contract Policy.
Good afternoon, councillors, Mayor, GM and staff. My name is Ben Shepherd. I'm the Chair of Business Southern Highlands. And firstly, I wanted to commend Councillors Moylan and Smith, particularly for consistently championing procurement reform, both last month and this month. These motions are an opportunity for Council to lead the way, not just comply with the basics. As chair of our local Chamber of Commerce, I represent hundreds of local businesses, and that is combined with both Grow and Robertson Chamber of Commerce, which we've combined as a Southern Highlands Chamber collective to advocate on behalf of businesses in the Highlands. Procurement is one of the most powerful tools that Council has to shape the future of our region, economically, socially and environmentally. Council must do more than just open tenders and hope for local participation. They need to be proactive, host regular supplier briefings and workshops to help local businesses understand how to work with Council and get tender ready. I note there's one tomorrow night, but no proactive engagement with the local chambers. Engaging early with suppliers, social enterprises and Indigenous businesses before tenders are released so they can prepare and partner. And set clear targets for local and social procurement and report the progress transparently. We need to embrace the circular economy in circular economy principles in procurement. This means prioritising products and services that are designed to last and can be repaired, reused or recycled and minimise waste throughout the life cycle, including circular economy criteria in lenders and contracts such as requirements for recycled content, take-back schemes and product-as-a-service models, and collaborating with suppliers to innovate, helping them transition to circular practices and not just demanding it. It's not really a buzzword, it's just a proven way for councils to drive sustainability, unlock innovation and create new local jobs. By leveraging our purchasing power, we can help businesses become leaders in the circular economy and opening up new markets and opportunities. Lastly, Council must see itself as a catalyst, not just a customer. Facilitating networking and knowledge sharing events between local businesses, social enterprises and Council staff, and supporting supplier readiness programs and co-design solutions with industry, especially for circular and social procurement. In closing, I urge Council to seize this opportunity. We should be bold in setting targets for local, social and circular procurement. We need to be proactive in supporting and developing our local supplier base. And let's lead by example by showing how procurement can deliver jobs, social value and a sustainable circular future for the Highlands. We are supporting these motions, but we think Council needs to do more to lead by example. As I said, we're representing all three chambers of commerce today, and we stand ready to partner with Council to make this vision a reality. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Councillor Smith.
Great. Thank you, Ben. I note that you said there was no proactive engagement with the local chambers. However, in the policy that's being put forward, there is a clear sort of mention of engagement with local business organisations. Is that what you're looking for? Can you clarify what you mean by no proactive engagement and whether that would suffice?
Sure, thank you. Look, by proactive engagement, you know, we can read through 500 pages of documents to find it on page 457 of to see where that is. But as the volunteer boards, and we're all volunteer boards trying to better the community, we'd like to see Council come to us and say, hey, we've got this, we're going to put this on. When's a good time to do it? I think the last procurement workshop clashed with a large event. I can't even remember what it was. In terms of proactivity, I specifically mentioned the workshop coming up tomorrow, of which I, you know, as a chamber, myself, Grow and Robertson haven't received any direct communication from Council, and maybe I'm asking too much, but I think it's a valid passageway of communication that needs to happen.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Smith.
So basically, it's more of a communication issue at this point, Ben? Is that correct?
That's right. I think it's a two-way communication issue, and one where, you know, we are trying to actively engage with Council, and you know, not having anyone in economic development. Where and who do we go to within Council to actually promote the cause of procurement and economic growth in the Highlands?
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Champion.
Sorry, thank you, Ben. You mentioned Council needing to do more by leading by example, but you also mentioned specific targets. What kind of targets? Do you have particular targets in mind when you say that?
The greater the better, I guess. If you know, if we're looking at targets, so I'm sure throughout procurement, the financial team would be better at describing what the current base is, and I believe that there's a report being prepared, and I don't think it's come.
Good, thank you. Anyone else got any questions? Councillor Moylan.
Thank you, Ben Shepherd, for coming along today and contributing to this discussion, and I certainly look forward to continuing to advocate for small business, local business and local jobs and developing that relationship. Back onto the targets topic, would you agree with the proposition that having targets for tracking local business spend, circular economy targets, First Nations targets, in fact opens up to Council to local economy rather than being a red tape?
Look, there's been a lot of discussion on red tape and procurement amongst the chambers and amongst business owners as well. And there is some fear that you know, having targets creates some red tape. But I think, you know, having targets creates accountability, and I think you know, we can make some very general statements on procurement, but actually achieving something needs to be accountable and have targets. Otherwise, you know, they're wishy-washy words that come together to make us all feel better, and we all go off and go, well, we did that, didn't we?
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you. That concludes our public forum. The council meeting will begin at 3:30.